And welcome back to the week of What If. Today's What If comes to us from the big time True Death, who asked the question, what if Darkseid existed in the Marvel Universe as opposed to Thanos? So obviously the two are essentially mirror images of each other, more or less. They represent the same thing in their respective universes, just in different designs, generally speaking. The tyrant lord ruler who has their goal in mind of conquering the universe in some way or subjugating it. But they are different. In fact, they're very different in terms of their backstory, how they function, all that. So what if we were to take Thanos in the Marvel Comics and swap him with Darkseid? So if we are assuming that we are keeping the same backstory, this changes up the actual history, layout, and style of the Marvel Universe to a certain degree, because we know, obviously, Darkseid is a new god. The new gods are an entire race that exists outside the standard universe in their own pocket universe. And Darkseid runs Apocalypse, the planet. So that all has to exist in Marvel. So right out of the gate, Darkseid exists. The whole issue with the new gods, they exist, whatever. How strong the new gods are, they're probably akin to individuals like the Greek gods in Marvel, like the Asgardians, like an Odin or something like that, although Odin is probably far more powerful than most new gods. One second, guy. Pardon me. Just tired. Anywho, so there's that. But then there's the second question. What is Darkseid in the Marvel Universe's ultimate goal? Because in the DC Universe, his ultimate goal for the longest time was to get the anti-life equation. And basically subjugate the world through tyranny and take away free will, all that, essentially. The world, the universe. My guess here, so does the anti-life equation exist within Marvel? My guess is probably no. The anti-life equation is something that most likely just exists as a concept in the DC universe, because we have no evidence to say, admittedly, one way or the other, whether it does. Even if we were to say the anti-life equation existed in the Marvel Universe, well, Darkseid has other ways of going about doing that wouldn't really that would be far more effective. For example, I don't know, gathering the Infinity Stones, creating the Infinity Gauntlet. Mind you, this happened actually. He did have the Infinity Gauntlet at one point in the comics. It was during one of the crossovers, but then he realized, oh, this won't work in my universe. Yeah, it's useless. This is his universe, though. So honestly, the Infinity Gauntlet can do exactly what the anti-life equation does. So he most likely would do what Thanos did and did a pilgrimage to find the to find the Infinity Stones. He probably would have a relatively easy time doing it. No harder than Thanos did. He's just as much of a genius as Thanos. So Thanos might be a little bit more tactical in a certain sense. He's probably a little bit more conniving. Even though Darkseid at least has a level of honor to him. He will uphold deals and things along those lines. Oh, Thanos does that too, actually. He just usually finds a loophole. This is why they're compared and similar in so many ways. So, I got another yawn coming. I apologize. I don't know what happened. I just got home and I was exhausted. I fear I'm going to be doing that throughout this video. Anyway, so he would go and the Infinity War would begin. The thing here, though, is that his goal is completely separate from Thanos's. Like, completely different. Thanos wanted to wipe out half the life in the universe. Like that. Thanos wants to subjugate everything. And by all accounts, he would do Darkseid wants to subjugate everything to the anti-life equation, or the effect of the anti-life equation. And by all accounts, there would be very few who would be immune to that. Even the cosmic entities are not immune to the Infinity Gauntlet. The only individuals who are as strong, if not stronger, than the Infinity Gauntlet are the Living Tribunal, the one above all, obviously. I can't remember the name of the character, but the Heart of the Universe is, in essence, as strong as the Infinity Gauntlet, if not, in fact, stronger. And Doctor Doom, with the power of the Beyonder, was able to go toe-to-toe with the Infinity Gauntlet. It's implied that the Beyonders are stronger than the Infinity Gauntlet as well, though different iterations are a little bit... It depends on the interpretation you're looking at. Someone with the power of the Beyonder was able to go toe-to-toe with someone with the Infinity Gauntlet versus an actual Beyonder who is allegedly stronger. And you have a couple individuals who are like multiversal, like Galactus, for example, was turned to stone. So the Infinity Gauntlet is one of the strongest weapons when it's fully assembled in the Marvel Universe. Or actually, sorry, in fiction, really. Weapons, mind you, not characters, weapons. There are characters who have power that supersedes the Infinity Gauntlet by a lot. Sorry, just rubbing my shoulder. So the cosmic, I think what it is, like the big cosmic entities would be saved from the effects of the Infinity Gauntlet here. Again, Eternity, Infinity, your Living Tribunals, your Galactuses, I think they would be saved from them. Anyone who's not directly in the universe that it happens would also be saved from it, but everyone else would be subjugated, worshiping Darkseid, or going crazy, whatever, just like in DC East, or Deceased, as I said. Because that was essentially turning into a zombie plague virus is what it was. And so it would be up to the cosmic entities to try to stop the Darkseid, but the problem is it would honestly come down to the Living Tribunal at the end of the day. There would be no one else, really. Even Celestials are powerless against the Infinity Gauntlet. So it would just be Living Tribunal, and Darkseid would mock this. Because remember, Darkseid also is a being who technically what you see isn't the real Darkseid. That is just an avatar in his consciousness in the avatar. His real form exists in a different plane of existence, and if it were to enter our universe, it would destroy the universe. But does that mean he's above the Living Tribunal? No. Because remember, the Living Tribunal, by all accounts, is the only person below the one above all. And the one above all is the guy who just runs everything, not just the Marvel Universe, the multiverse and every multiverse in the Marvel Universe. And Darkseid is only a certain degree multiversal. He exists outside of a single universe, and so he can exist within the multiverse to a certain degree. But he is not above the one above all by any means. And he's almost certainly not above the Living Tribunal. So Darkseid might try to throw some shade, throw some shit. And the Living Tribunal is like, yeah, no, you are proving to be a problem. And you're basically destroying the balance of everything. So Darkseid, we're just going to make you forget the Infinity Stones ever existed. So you think you can stop. And just takes the Infinity Gauntlet away from him. How dare you think you can stop Darkseid? I am everything, and you are nothing. And he just fires his Omega Beam, which the Omega Beam would have to exist here too, obviously. The Omega Sanction, the Omega Effect. But again, the Living Tribunal just like... Now, you should know, would Darkseid know about the Living Tribunal? Yeah, he probably would. He's a strong enough, old enough, wise enough, and powerful enough individual, strong and powerful, same thing, that he probably definitely knows of the Living Tribunal. Maybe he's never met him up until now, but he does know about him. And so, again, Living Tribunal is like, no, you forget your Omega Sanction, your Omega Effect, your status as the God of Tyranny, and for all its bolstering and bravado, is nothing more than that. You still abide by the rules of your universe, of your multiverse. It is my job to make sure the balance. It's my job to make sure everything stays in balance. Which is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of the big reasons he didn't get involved with Thanos wiped out half the universe, because everything was balanced. And keep in mind, the Living Tribunal doesn't care if people live or die. He cares about if there's one person left in existence or something like that, and a balance is thrown off entirely. It's a slight against the entirety of the multiverse and the universe, everything. Oh, excuse me. So he more or less punishes Darkseid by resetting everything, or taking the Infinity Gauntlet away, which takes away the effects of the Infinity Gauntlet and his subjugation. He basically mind wipes Darkseid have ever any knowledge of the Infinity Gems, and probably puts in like a fail safe in him. So whenever he hears Infinity Gems, he maybe hears something else, or he just doesn't care about them or whatever. Darkseid, for all his power, would still actually probably be the Living Tribunal's bitch if I ever did a versus, because they're two tiers of power. Like, Darkseid is comparable to a Galactus. In fact, they actually met, Galactus and Darkseid, in a fight during one of the crossovers. Galactus came to eat New Apocalypse, and Darkseid went to confront him, and Galactus tanked an Omega Beam to the face. And if you know what an Omega Beam does, folks, that's no small feat. And then Darkseid basically just persuaded him, like, you will not find what you're looking for here, Devourer of Worlds. And so he's comparable to a Galactus, and Galactus is the Living Tribunal's bitch. So, yeah, it's one of those things where Darkseid would not be able to get past that. And so Darkseid would be left to his own devices, still seeking the way to subjugate, use whatever this version of the anti-life equation would be, find it, and all that. And he'd probably have crossovers with the Avengers. They'd fight him. Would the Avengers be able to take on Darkseid? Some of them. Sentry is definitely an equivalent of Superman in this universe. Thor would definitely be able to put up a really good fight. And in fact, him throwing Mjolnir at Darkseid would be hilarious, as Darkseid is probably strong enough to pick it up with sheer physical strength, but it still would be tough. It'd be like the Hulk picking up. Eventually, the Hulk could do it, but it would be tough. So him just, it's like pathetic. Asgardian. Fires the Omega Beam. Fires lightning to counter the Omega Beam. That'd be kind of fun. Darkseid would be the ever-present threat in the multiverse, or in the universe. Would he be like one of the top threat outside of some of your more like cosmic level threats? I mean, without doing a versus video for it right here and now, he would not really be afraid of someone like Ultron. Ultron would be a bit of a nuisance, but again, Omega Beams. So he wouldn't be afraid of someone like Ultron. He would not be afraid of anyone in the Asgardian pantheon. He wouldn't be afraid of that much. He would definitely consider Galactus a problem, because it was a problem before. So Galactus would definitely be up there as a problem. Null, I think, would be a problem also, because he existed even before the universe, and I think that makes him even older than Darkseid. I think, maybe, unless the history of new... Well, no, yeah, because Darkseid had to have come to the universe when it was still formed. Now, maybe he exists in a separate universe prior, but... Yeah, Null might be older than him. That's a good question. I should look that up. But Null, I think, would be a problem if they ever came to blows, because he's someone who could even neg off the Omega Beams in theory. Then you have someone like Apocalypse, who, not that Apocalypse really ever travels outside of Earth, but if he did and him and Darkseid ever met up, could be a problem for Darkseid to a certain degree. I think he's on the lesser side of it, but still, anyone of the Celestials is certainly powerful enough to give Darkseid a serious run for his money. So yeah, there's definitely individual, like I said, Sentry, I think I actually did a versus of Sentry and Darkseid. But Sentry could definitely give Darkseid a good fight. Same with like Hyperion, your Gladiators, any Superman-esque individual who has even a certain level of strength comparable to Superman, maybe not the exact same level, but certain, like Superman's the 10, they're like 6s or 7s, could give Darkseid a problem. I still argue Sentry actually is stronger than Superman, personally. The Void, speaking of which, would be a serious competitor to Dark. So Darkseid actually would be kept in check pretty well from going to the Phoenix Force, seeing as we're bringing since I remember now Death Battle in 2 weeks. The Phoenix Force would be something that Darkseid would not want to try to fight if he could help it. So there are definitely individuals who are either stronger than Darkseid in the Marvel Universe, or at a very minimum contemporaries or equal or at least solid threats to him. So that helps keep him in check and balance. Overall, though, he would serve the role that Darkseid normally serves in the DC universe, and that is the tyrant that comes in every now and then and causes problems. But usually he's just content, looking over and gazing over his kingdom, just contemplating and planning for his next move. So, yeah, that's my thoughts, but what would you think? The big thing would be the whole anti-life equation thing, in this case, the Infinity Gauntlet, and how that would go down. But again, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Well, let me know. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time.